Welcome to the Dome in downtown St. Louis for week 3 of the NFL season. It's the Baltimore Ravens taking on the St. Louis Rams. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone, alongside Solomon Wilcott. Kevin Harlan, thank you so much for joining us. The landscape of this game today changed about an hour and a half ago when the Rams announced that running back Steven Jackson would play. He has had a quad injury, and of course, with him, Solomon, in the game, taking a lot of pressure off young quarterback Sam Bradford.
Yeah, I think his presence in the offense should help the Rams to improve their poorly executed red zone offense, and certainly Sam Bradford needs all the help that he can get. I think early in his career, the first 2 years, he has shown that he has mastered the no-huddle offense in just his second game in Josh McDaniels' offense. Career passing yards, 331 against the New York Giants. Now he's got to prove that he can operate that no-huddle offense against a very tough Baltimore Ravens defense.
On the Ravens side, Joe Flacco played well week 1, staggered like the team did last week, but the hub of this offense of Baltimore revolves around Ray Rice.
And Kevin, I think the Ravens will tell you that when the ball goes through Ray Rice and he's playing at a very high level, everyone else on the offense, they also play better. He helps to protect his quarterback, Joe Flacco, catching the ball out of the backfield. Whether it's checkdowns, whether it's screens, he leads the team in both rushing and receiving. So he's the catalyst that will make this offense go today.
John Harbaugh is in his 4th year. He's taken this team to the playoffs the first 3. When he was an assistant at Philadelphia, he was on the same staff as Steve Spagnuolo, who is in the middle of a rebuilding project here in St. Louis. They were 6-6 midway through last season, then lost 3 of their last 4. The Ravens won the toss. They have deferred. The Rams will receive. Billy Cundiff will boot it. And deep back, the former Falcon running back now with the Rams, Jarius Norwood, coming off a severe knee injury, will return. What kind of team are the Ravens? We'll find out, we think, at the end of this one. Played great against Pittsburgh, staggered last week in Nashville, and the Rams looking for their first win of the season. This drives them to the back of the end zone. And it will be 1st and 10 with the touchback. A look at Joe Flacco. Fans, please welcome. Now for the Rams. Sam Bradford was the first overall pick in last year's draft. He was the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Solomon coming off a career-high passing yards Monday night against the New York Giant defense.
Very smart and heady young quarterback. Poise is his trademark. And talk about the learning curve. He's now operating in his 2nd offensive system in just his 2nd year in the league.
Empties the backfield from the 21st, down and 10. A lot of no-huddle last week against the New York Giants. Buys time here. Webb has got a beat on him. Gets the first down. Sliding to about the 35. Scrambles for 16. That's a first down for the Rams.
Oh, you talk about being heady for a young quarterback. See, the Ravens are locked up in man-to-man defense, and so no one is facing the quarterback. And I think this is where Bradford surprises you with his mobility, despite being a very tall, 6'5", ranging quarterback. If you turn your back to him in coverage, he will make you pay.
He was a great high school basketball player, but a great athlete overall.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the Ravens defense just learned on that play.
Cadillac Williams now in the backfield on this 1st and 10 from the 36. Incomplete. We take a look at the offensive line. Dahl and Bell are longtime starting guards, but Stafford against Terrell Suggs, that'll be one of the great matchups to watch today. And we told you about Steven Jackson, all-time leading rusher for this franchise, and much needed. Hurt a quad early in the game, opening weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles.
But he's healthy and ready to go today. This is Cadillac Williams coming in on this play, but both healthy running backs.
2nd down and 10. Lance Kendricks. Stopped on the play by Suggs. No room there. That was the rookie Kendricks out of Wisconsin. Loss of 8.
It's just going to be a reverse play. You can't do this on a team like the Ravens. And Terrell Suggs, look at him. He's the backside defender. You check for anything coming back your way when the run is going opposite of your direction. So it's a heads-up play by Terrell Suggs, and he says, hey, we fell asleep on the Tennessee Titans 1 week ago. No way they fall asleep on the St. Louis Rams.
Chris Carr comes in the secondary. It's 3rd down and 18. Steven Jackson, huge hole, but shy of the first down by 6. Brought down on the play by Suggs and company. It's a gain of 12, and the Rams have got to punt the ball.
Oh, this is what he can do, and you don't need a big hole. Look at the slimmest of holes for Steven Jackson, but he still knows how to get to the second level, and boy, you don't want to have to tackle him one-on-one in the secondary.
Veteran Donnie Jones going to punt to Ladarius Webb. No David Reed today because of an injury on kickoff returns for the Baltimore Ravens. So 4 plays in punt for the Rams. And this is Webb. He's got a full plate today. He's going to be starting in the secondary and dances his way for just 3. And after the 41-yard punt, Flacco and Baltimore's offense will get it. 12:50 in the first from St. Louis. One of the things for the Ravens today after St. Louis has punted, which Rams team will they see on the other side for Baltimore this afternoon?
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens after a flat week in week 2 and destroyed Pittsburgh in week 1.
Here's Flacco on first down and 10. Monte Leach at about the 26 and banged out of bounds by Quentin Michael and crew on a gain of 4. Joe Flacco struggled last week against Tennessee. He had the wonderful game against the Pittsburgh Steelers opening weekend.
Yeah, sacked 3 times last week, couple of interceptions, and his head coach, Harbaugh, says he's got to play better today.
Ben Grubb's not playing. Gerard will get the start at that left guard. And with Lee Evans out, Torrey Smith will be there. Second down and 6, going deep for Smith on his first catch. He is gone for a Baltimore touchdown. How do you like that? That'll wake up the country club. What a great throw by Flacco. And on his first NFL reception, he goes 74 yards.
Wow, take a look, left side of your screen, working in man-to-man coverage. Gets on top, stacks the cornerback, and then it's just speed into the end zone. And it's a wonderful throw and wonderful catch, beating Justin King on the play. And what did Joe Flacco tell us about Torrey Smith? He just has to stop thinking and start playing. John Harbaugh says he'll be okay as soon as he can get 1 completion in the game. What a biggie.
He dropped a couple passes in that opening game against Pittsburgh. Here's the extra point now by Cundiff, which makes it 7-0 Baltimore. Beginning his NFL career with a bang, a 74-yard touchdown reception. We've just seen a career-long touchdown pass by Joe Flacco to perhaps the fastest member of the Ravens, Torrey Smith, who was a blur down the sideline. 74-yard, the touchdown pass puts the Ravens on top 7-0. And the ensuing kickoff. And for the second time, this will go to Norwood. He'll bring it out this time, Jarius Norwood. And from behind, the all-pro special teamer, Brandon Iandajeho, brings him down. That's a return of 31 yards.
All right, control. And look, up top, locked up in man-to-man coverage. It's an easy read for Flacco. Justin King in coverage. And watch this. This is early separation, so you just throw it over the top where he can run under it. And then he extends himself from the cornerback as the ball comes in, and then it's speed to the end zone. What a throw from Flacco, and what a catch by Torrey Smith.
Cadillac Williams in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the 34. Here comes Suggs. There goes Bradford. Ray Lewis greets him at about the 29, 30-yard line with a hard hit. That's a gain of 6 on the play. The Ravens defense on the defensive line, Haloti Ngata is the signature player and playing his best football. So a gigantic contract this week as well. Ray Lewis continues to lead in every way. Someday he will walk into camp. Issues in the secondary, 2nd down and 4. We'll get to that. Here comes Cadillac again, and he is brought down by Terrence Cody. High pick out of Alabama a season ago. It's a gain of 2. He's to the 32. Ed Reed is in the secondary, but they've got very little depth because of injuries.
Yeah, they have some injuries on the back end. Jimmy Smith out of today's game. We're told that Chris Carr will play, but he's less than 100%.
It's 3rd down and 2. Again, the no huddle for the Rams, and that was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Coming through, I think, was Corey Redding, who's playing with a bad foot, bad toe. knocked away. They got a punt once again to the Rams.
Well, they're getting pressure in the face of the quarterback immediately, and the Rams offensive line is going to have to do a better job of keeping a clean pocket for Sam Bradford. He's had to run for his life so far early in the game.
Second punt coming up for Donnie Jones, who was in the top 10 in the NFL a season ago in gross and in average. Ardarius Webb is back at about the 25-yard line for Baltimore. Good penetration there by Bernard Pollard. Almost got it. Here comes Webb from the 28 with the seam. Ian Badejo had a block. The long snapper couldn't get him, but the punter does. Jake McQuaid couldn't bring him down. Jones directs him out of bounds. Here come the Ravens with great beginning field position.
As we return to the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, it was a relationship forged by competition. Josh McDaniel, Patriots offensive coordinator in 2007 during their 16-0 run. Steve Spagnuolo then was the Giants defensive coordinator. They both would meet on the stage in Super Bowl 42, where Spagnuolo designed a defense to derail the Patriots' run to perfection. They're now teamed together as head coach and offensive coordinator here with the St. Louis Rams. Right now, Spagnuolo's really concerned about this Ravens football team.
Who wouldn't be? Poor punt, good return by Webb from the 44 of St. Louis. Flacco on first down and 10, throws it at the feet of tight end Ed Dickson. Second down and 10. All right, the Rams defense, they played well. The line did against the Giants on Monday. Chris Long has had a sack in each game so far. Linebacker James Laurinaitis has led St. Louis in tackles for 2 consecutive seasons. And former Eagle Quentin Michael has had a sack and an interception in the first 2 games. It's second down and 10 from the 44 of the Rams. Orr with a block. Flacco, Bolden, and caught across the way, and they were working on Darian Stewart. 15-yard pickup. It's a first down to the 29.
When are people going to start giving Joe Flacco the credit he deserves? Because, yeah, we're going to watch the route run by Anquan Bolden. He gets open, but it was an even better move in the pocket with Joe Flacco. Watch the movement. Now watch him stay in that ready position to get rid of the ball. It was his ability to move in the pocket that allowed that play to be successful.
First and 10, Flacco. Hit as he throws deep to Smith, and off his fingertips and incomplete, and they were going at Justin King.
And we're going to get a flag down. Flacco was hit in about
holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's on Michael Orr. Had a couple of false starts last week down in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans.
He's been struggling with the false starts, but, you know, he's a blossoming player. He's going to continue to get better. And watch number 74. He'll be right over there. Look at that.
With Chris Long working
Chris
on him.
Long.
Yeah.
But see, he beats the edge, and there's the holding right there. At some point, you got to let him go once they turn the corner.
He started on the left side last year. Now he's on the right side.
He's on the right side. There's some adjustment there.
First down and 20 to Rice. Grabbed and taken down easily that time. Justin Bannon, an ex-Raven, brings him down. Lost the 2 to the 41.
Oh, Bannon did a really good job of staying backside. Everyone knows that Ray Rice will cut it back on that stretch play, and Bannon was smart, stayed in position, and how about this? He was able to tackle Ray Rice. We know that's difficult enough.
Second down and 22. Laquan Williams has come in as an extra receiver. Flacco again downfield. And incomplete. He was working on Quentin Michael, was Ed Dickson. Now it is third and 22 for the Ravens.
Watch Dickson is going to be covered by a number of different defensive players for the Rams. Look, just smothered over the middle. I'm taking a look at least 4 Rams defenders in that area of the football field.
How about the way Flacco's going downfield? This has been wanted in Baltimore for a while.
They have needed some big plays in the vertical passing game. Already won to Torrey Smith, and you know Cam Cameron, their offensive coordinator now, willing to dial up more without Lee Evans in today's ball game.
They need the 19, third down and 22. Here comes Quinn. Flacco, again, he needs the 19-yard line, and he was hit Justin King delivered the blow. Ball is free, recovered by Baltimore at the 33. But they do get into field goal range.
And Flacco maybe a little careless with the ball, but very surprising to hit the mobility for a 6'6", 240-pound quarterback. Look, guys are just chasing him, flying around trying to get to him, and then look at that hit. It was Justin King, 21, that laid a lick on him that jarred the ball loose. That's where you have to know how to slide, get down, as opposed to trying to get that one extra yard.
Here's Billy Cundiff, a Pro Bowler a season ago, a 51-yard try. He's got the distance. He didn't get it wide. There's a high snap on the play. May have fooled with that field goal try. 8:49 in the first. Ravens squandered some pretty good beginning field position.
Absolutely. Now the defense has to play well.
1st and 10 after the missed field goal. Cadillac Williams. Ray Lewis chases him down. That's a first down to the 43. A sprint of 16 into Raven territory.
Rarely do you see this kind of running right up the middle of the Baltimore Ravens defense. And we saw just a little bit with Javon Ringer last week with the Tennessee Titans. Did a good job against Chris Johnson, but yet they were creased in terms of their run defense. And Ray Lewis is anchoring that defense, says they're going to get better as the season goes on.
Steven Jackson is in. 1st down and 10 from the 43. And Jackson. Lewis drills him. Gain of about a yard. Well, we're seeing a hurry-up offense by the Rams, and last week they were on Monday Night Football against the Giants. A couple players fell here, but namely Deion Grant, number 34, he went down. They faked the injuries to stop the Rams' offensive momentum in the red zone right off the bat. And on Wednesday, the NFL issued a memo to all 32 teams warning that the punishments for players faking injuries would include fines, suspensions, and loss of draft picks. 2nd down and 10. Brandon Gibson. Reed chases him down. That's a loss. That's a gain of 4. He's down to the 39-yard line. Some of the key inactives today for both teams.
Yeah, you can see some of the guys who are missing. Dominique Foxworth and, of course, Ben Grubbs out. That's a key injury. Baltimore Ravens missing some key guys. And Danny Amendola for the St. Louis Rams. But talk about that no-huddle offense for St. Louis. You've got to come up with a better way of defending that. Faking injuries is just unprofessional, and I strongly disagree with the tactic.
5th defensive back put in for the Ravens. 3rd down and 6 from the 39. Timeout, Baltimore.
Timeout, Baltimore. This is their first charge timeout.
So the Rams are on the move, down 7-0. Timeout. So after a timeout by Baltimore, it is a 3rd and 6 for St. Louis. Here comes Suggs. There goes Bradford. Ripping it away. The great pressure by Terrell Suggs. And they're going to have to punt on their second, make it 3rd possession.
And Kevin, we said earlier, they're going to have to do a better job of protecting Sam Bradford. They turn Terrell Suggs loose on the young quarterback who's running for his life. Look, no one blocks him. Comes in unprotected, and look at him molesting the quarterback, getting to Sam Bradford early on, and talked about Bradford being a young quarterback of poise. He's going to need it in this game.
3 possessions and 3 punts for the St. Louis Rams. This will be a high punt which will go into the end zone. So to the 20-yard line, a 39-yard boot by Donnie Jones. 1st and 10 for Baltimore. The NFL celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. Visit the official Spanish language home of the NFL at NFL.com/Espanol for game highlights, fantasy football, and a look at your team's Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. So we've seen a 74-yard touchdown pass by Joe Flacco to rookie Torrey Smith. That's how we got things started. And here's a third possession for the Baltimore Ravens, 1st and 10.
Baltimore Ravens getting big plays out of the passing game. Remember, Anquan Boldin has caught the lion's share of the passes of any other wide receivers for the Ravens. Today they're playing without Lee Evans, so we have 3 rookie wide receivers going to play a whole lot today for Baltimore.
A couple of tight ends here on 1st down and 10 for Flacco. Maneuvering well, looking for Bolden. And covered on the play by Bradley Fletcher. 2nd down and 10.
And even with a lot of time to throw, because I do believe the offensive line's buying some time for Flacco, we're not seeing the wide receivers get separation from the defenders of the St. Louis Rams. So even with good time, Joe Flacco's struggling to find some of his receivers open in that secondary.
A lot of 2 tight end sets like right here once again. 2nd down and 10. This is Smith looking for a Bolden block and then driven out of bounds. Quentin Michael was among the many. It's a gain of 10. A flag is down on the play. Among the many that knocked him out of bounds at the 30-yard line or thereabouts.
Yeah, that little smoke screen, and it was Anquan Boldin who was blocking on the play. That's where the flag came in. Anquan Boldin is not happy. He's got a sense they're going to call him for it.
What a pro, huh?
He is a pro and tremendously hard worker, very passionate about the game.
And they take pride in the way their receivers block downfield.
Well, especially Anquan Boldin, something he's
There's
done
no
for a while.
foul for offensive pass interference. The pass was backwards.
He won his case. He appealed to the official saying, hey, the ball was thrown. I was blocking. See, it's thrown backwards. So it's a lateral, but good blocking there. So it certainly is a really good play by Anquan Boldin and well-designed play by the offense coordinator, Cam Campbell.
Of course, here in St. Louis, they know all about a backwards pass. They had one on Monday night to Cadillac Williams that was returned by Boley, 65 yards for a giant touchdown.
And every one of the St. Louis Ram players fell asleep on it except the quarterback, Sam Bradford. He took off running right away, and Cadillac Williams was kicking himself because he dropped the ball. He could have caught it, but when he dropped it, he didn't give chase for Michael Boley.
Down and 10. Fake to Rice. Vontae Leach chased by Michael. And out of bounds. There's another flag. That was a catch and run to about the 41-yard line. Pickup of 9 as it stands right now. Leach was signed when LaRon McClain left and went to Kansas City. This may be the premier blocking fullback, Vontae Leach, in the NFL. And as you can see, he's got some dimension to his game because he can receive it as well out of the backfield.
You mentioned a premier blocker, but certainly not one-dimensional. He's got some versatility in this game.
As they discuss across the way with Scott Green as our referee.
There are 2 fouls on the play that will offset. Illegal block in the back, 88 offense.
Pitta.
What was the other? Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 32. The fouls will offset. First.
32 is Fletcher. We talked about some miscues in that Monday night game for the Rams in the Meadowlands against the Giants. First of all, the rookie Greg Salas muffed a punt, which the Giants got. And then on 4th and 4, Manning hooks up with Hakeem Nicks. Cadillac Williams dropped a lateral, a backward pass from Michael Boley. Picked it up, vacuums it in, races the other way for 65. 1st and 10. Ray Rice, Leach leading the way. And it's a gain of 4 on the play. And he was brought down by Bannon at the 34.
Kevin, you just talked about the miscues of the St. Louis Rams last week. They were off to that 0-2 start. They didn't expect to get off to such a poor start, despite having a very tough and difficult schedule. But Steve Spagnuolo said, hey, we just have to find a way to stop beating ourselves.
James Laurinaitis, who anchors that defense. 2nd down, long 6. Now Harris is coming as an extra defensive back for the Rams. Rice. Yonda gave a nice block in the middle. Quentin Michael forces him out of bounds. The catch and run to the 45. He picks up 11. That's a 1st down, but away from the ball. Number 73, Yonda, with a nice block.
I don't know how you lose sight. Look, he'll just come out of Ray Rice. Look, no one's over there. No one has covered him. Quentin Michael is the closest thing to him, but not until he's able to get beyond the 1st down marker. You have to be aware of where Ray Rice is, particularly in the screens and check down game.
2 rookie receivers in the bottom of your screen. Tandon Doss is in the slot. It is a first down from the 45. And Pitta. Hit high, hit low. Official hit was put on him by Justin King. It's a gain on the play of about 4. They'll spot him at the 49.
Right,
Flag is down.
King and Darian Stewart both just teed off on Pitta.
Offside, defense, the defensive end, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Here we go. Look at that. Just jump. I thought he was a little bit early. Didn't know if he had entered that neutral zone area, but trying to get off on the ball and get to the quarterback.
It's Eugene Sims out of West Texas A&M, a 6th-round pick, 2nd year in the NFL. You can see the penalty story for the Rams. First and 5 now for Baltimore at midfield. Winding up, looking for Smith. He's got separation, but the pass overthrown. Boy, they are really going downfield trying to exploit the great speed of this rookie from Maryland, Torrey Smith.
And watch, you want to bring the tight end, look across the middle, but look at him just run right by the safety, right by Stewart. And you have to be able to hit on that one if you're Joe Flacco. Certainly some room to the back of the end zone, just overthrows Torrey Smith, who's come out and had himself a well of a game here in the first quarter.
Hitting a 74-yard touchdown reception. First possession of the game. 2nd down and 5. Bolden. Great block there by Laquan Williams. Another rookie wide receiver. Again, Lee Evans is out today with the ankle. That's a pickup of 9 to the 41.
Laquan Williams, just an excellent block out on the perimeter, bottom of your screen. Just hand fighting with the cornerback. Look, just dominating against Bradley Fletcher. If you're Fletcher, you've got to get off that block to be able to shrink that hole and make a tackle. And how about Anquan Bolden making the block pay off?
Eric Mason no longer with Baltimore. He was let go, as was tight end Zad Heath. So Flacco has had to put his trust in other receivers. 7th play of the drive, 1st and 10. Again, Rice the decoy. Again, they go deep for Smith. He's got it!
Wow.
Another touchdown strike, this time 41 yards. A beauty by Flacco. They burn Stewart. What a debut for Torrey Smith.
Wow. He's just going to blow by the secondary. And I thought Anquan Bolden was open underneath. He gets behind the safety yet again. Darian Stewart. They had him beat earlier on the same possession when Flacco overthrew Torrey Smith. Cam Cameron dials it up again, and this time they hit on it for a touchdown. Incredible.
Scott one for a 74-yard touchdown. That one good for a 41-yard touchdown pass. Here's the Cundiff extra point. 14-0 Baltimore. The cry has been, let's get that ball downfield. Well, they do. That one lassoed from 41. Flacco with 2 first-quarter touchdown passes. Well, there's a look at the guy that was burned on the play, Darian Stewart. He's a 2nd-year player out of South Carolina. He made the team as a rookie free agent. And the talk of this game is the rookie, Torrey Smith, with his first 2 receptions in the NFL. I mean, how often does, and not just little, 74 yards, 41 yards. And that's the way the Ravens answer last week's dismal performance in Nashville.
A 2nd-round pick out of nearby Maryland. And what did Coach Harbaugh say when they met him at the combine? He says, look, I want to be a Baltimore Raven. He said this kid literally sold himself in that meeting at the scouting combine in Indianapolis.
Here's the 3rd kickoff for the Baltimore Ravens. Jarius Norwood is deep. Another touchback to the 20. It will be 1st and 10.
Take another look at that touchdown and watch. This is Anquan Bolden here. He'll come across the field, but look, the post behind it, that's what draws the safety Stewart up a little bit, is that crossing route. See, he's eyeing Bolden coming across the field. In the meantime, watch Torrey Smith gets behind number 20, Darian Stewart, for a touchdown. It's just a well-designed play, and the speed of Smith getting behind the safety, and what a throw from Flacco. Didn't miss him on the 2nd opportunity.
Here they go again. 3 possessions, 3 punts for the St. Louis Rams. Cadillac Williams in the backfield, first down and 10. And that is dropped by Denario Alexander, who was a big target of quarterback Bradford in New York on Monday night. Tonight, on the season premiere of 60 Minutes, inside the best counter-terror team in the world, New York City's elite police force, plus the creators of South Park. 60 Minutes tonight only on CBS. Second down and 10. Looks like Steven Jackson may be on a snap count today as Cadillac continues to play in there.
Yeah, we're seeing a rotation between both.
And he throws that away, and that's second down and 10. That was again intended for Alexander as Bradford's frustrated by the pressure put on him and the lack of open receivers.
Take a look at Sam Bradford and see what he's seeing. A lot of pressure in his face. You can see he just has to dump it. And because he had a defender right in his face, and then the receiver, the intended receiver, right behind them. Didn't want to have one tipped up or batted up. They can ill afford a turnover right here in the ballgame down 14-0.
It's Denver head coach Josh McDaniels still installing the New England system. He was Bill Belichick's signal caller, play caller in Foxborough. Third down and 10. Down he goes. Sacked on the play and coming through, Pernell McPhee. He is a rookie out of Mississippi State. Loss of 4. They got a punt again to the St. Louis Rams.
And just pick your man and watch how they just close in the pocket. They pinch it up top and then pressure in the face of Bradford. He never had a chance to get to the top of his drop before pressure's on him. Look at that. Never even had a chance to set up. He did a good job of just securing the football.
So Donnie Jones will punt once again. 4th consecutive punt. And Lardarius Webb is back and fair caught at the 45-yard line. 40-yard punt. A 39-yard punt. Well, the NFL was shocked by the death of Orlando Brown, found dead in his South Baltimore apartment on Friday. He played for this Baltimore franchise 96 through 98 and then 03 to 05. Very good friends with Ray Lewis, and the Ravens today playing with a heavy heart at the loss of a former teammate.
He was known as an imposing offensive tackle, but a gentle giant off the field and wonderful mentor in the locker room. And for many of these offensive linemen playing today could always count on a kind word from Orlando Brown, helping them to grow and develop as players.
Ricky Williams in for the first time. First down and 10 for Flacco. Slings a pass, which is caught at about the 46. It is a gain of 9. It was lassoed in by Anquan Bolden. And the coverage on the play by Fletcher.
And what did James Laurinaitis tell us, the middle linebacker for the St. Louis Rams? He said that, Steve Spagnuolo wants them to play fast, play downhill. It's their second year in this defense. Ought to be more aggressive. He said we have to start creating turnovers, something they've really struggled to do so far in their first 2 games this season. If they're going to start taking the ball away right now, would be a good time to do so.
Second down and 1, and here's Ricky Williams busting free, and he's off to the races. Dragging him down, Darian Stewart. He slashes his way to the 13, a 28-yard run, a first down for Baltimore.
Boy, they're working over the safety, Stewart. They're going over to the right side. Look at this. Look at that seam. And watch how they seal it. Vontae Leach right there. If you seal it there, then you can get to the next level. And then watch number 20, Stewart, just trying to hang on for dear life to Ricky Williams.
Here they go for Smith. He's got it for his 3rd touchdown today. This is amazing. Torrey Smith. He beats Justin King. What?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And his first few catches in the National Football League, they're all going for touchdowns. He beats King again. And I am really convinced that this lockout and the lack of OTAs, the short training camp, has affected NFL secondaries. The chemistry on the back end and tight bump and run man-to-man coverage, as much as teams are throwing the ball, secondaries have been early victims of the lockout in the National Football League.
Here's the Gundam extra point, which makes it 21-0 Baltimore. A flag was thrown. The Maryland second-round pick of Baltimore.
Offside. Defense, number 84. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The point is good.
Not a good way to start. Torrey Smith, 3 receptions, 133 yards, 3 touchdown receptions. Joe Flacco is having his way with the secondary. Well, an NFL record in his first game as an NFL receiver in terms of catching. He played against Pittsburgh, but there's Torrey Smith, 3 catches, his first 3 of his career, all for touchdowns, 74, 41, and 18 yards.
All he does is catch touchdowns early in his career. That's got to be something. That's got to be some kind of record in the National Football League. The 3 catches, all for touchdowns to begin your NFL career.
As a receiver. Now, Mike Vrabel caught some as a eligible player on offense for the New England Patriots, but this has been historic, and here was the 18-yarder moments ago.
Let's take a look at it right here. It's just a fade route going up top against King. As we go ahead and let it roll here, this is just a wonderful throw over the top. Now go get it. Look at the throw. Great arc, dropping it in the back shoulder for Torrey Smith. Joe Flacco, wonderful throw and catch, and not anything to disrupt the route that time by the cornerback, King. He's got to do a better job.
Yeah, the performance of Smith would take your breath away. He's getting some oxygen. Cadillac on first down and 10 and chased down from behind. Nice play by Arthur Jones, a gain of a yard.
Yeah, you start this game, Torrey Smith has been on fire. Filling in for Lee Evans, up top against Justin King. He takes it on this drive. Huge play for a touchdown. Then he gets behind the safety end corner for another. Then it's King again on the fade route. The oldest of 7 children helped his mother, Monica Jenkins, to take care of their family while she was in community college and worked evenings. And this kid was an honor roll student in elementary school and gone on to do some great things at Maryland.
Second down, 9. Suggs has got Bradford. Suggs, another sack to add to his season total. Back at the 11. It's a loss of 10, and Suggs, who is the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, playing it well there.
Well, you knew the Ravens would come in here angry after a poor performance last week against the Tennessee Titans, where Matt Hasselbeck carved them up for over 300 yards passing. But right now, Suggs told us that everything starts with our ability to put pressure on the quarterback. We play well and get to the quarterback, they expect to win it. Boy, it's been a nightmare for Sam Bradford here in the first half.
Suggs said there's 3 sacks against the Steelers opening day. 3rd and 19. They need the 30. Steven Jackson is in. Bradford whacked out of the reach of Alexander. The pressure applied by the blitzing Chris Carr, who's playing with the bad left hamstring. Another punt coming up for the Rams.
And Denario Alexander was wide open on the play. And right now, Bradford's a little rattled. He's a little rattled right now because watch, you're going to see it over here. Go ahead and roll it. And we're going to see the outright up top. Now look at Alexander. Now pressure in his face. See how open he is? Ball sails out of bounds because of the pressure coming at Sam Bradford.
Jones to punt, and that was almost blocked on the play by Albert McClellan. And here goes Ladarius Webb back to the 35. And chased and brought down on the play. 56-yard punt, 1-yard Webb return. Now these beautiful scenics given to us today by the MetLife Blimp. Look for the MetLife Blimps as they team up with CBS for more coverage throughout the season. There is a Raven player down on that special teams play.
Real quick, Kevin, remember the St. Louis Rams are without Ron Bartell. They're starting cornerback, and right now they're struggling on the back end on defense. And yeah, Sam Bradford is starting to struggle a little bit because the offensive line's not able to protect, not giving him enough time to throw the ball. When your offensive line fails to protect the quarterback and your secondary is not covering on the back end, you really do have the potential to get blown out of ball games. And Dick LeBeau used to say, when you make mistakes in the secondary, the official is usually standing in the end zone holding up both arms, signaling a touchdown, and that's what we've seen in the first half of today's game.
That is Haruki Nakamura, and that is not a good sign for a team that is thin already because of injuries in the defensive secondary. So he leaves. And a look at Joe Flacco with 3 touchdowns and the longest of 74 yards. Only thing they've really messed up on was a 51-yard field goal.
I think the Ravens came ready to play today.
Wow. I think last week's performance got in their psyche a little bit. Wow. Dominating performance through the hands of Bolden on 1st and 10 with the coverage by Fletcher. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, Flacco's got to get that one down just a little bit, get it right in the belly of Anquan Bolden and lead him away from the receiver. That one was a little bit high and behind him and allow Fletcher to be able to get those arms down, knock the ball away as well.
See Gerard there, who is in the game and playing for the injured Ben Grubbs. Last week they started Mark Lavore, and part of the problem for this team was that left guard. He's inactive today. Gerard, the 5-time Pro Bowler with Dallas, is starting. 2nd down and 10 for Flacco. Moved up niftily. That's out of the reach of Bolden. And coverage by Darian Stewart, and the flag has been thrown.
Illegal hands to the face, 74 offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the 2nd penalty today on Michael Laurie at a holding the first time, and that's his 2nd of the afternoon.
Yeah, he's struggling with that speed rush coming around the outside. We saw him hold on Chris Long, and he did it again simply with a speed rush there. Just got to anchor, get that kick step, take good depth in his drop. That way he'll be able to take the corner away from the speed rush.
Ravens need the 44, 2nd down and 20. Ray Rice, nice block by Dixon, the tight end. The burst of the 41, 17-yard run, which will end the quarter. Bradley Fletcher makes the stop. A beauty by Rice. What a first-half performance. 3 touchdown passes to a rookie from Flacco. Well, we were wondering what Ravens team we were going to see today in this, the 3rd game of the season, the one that played and steamrolled Pittsburgh, or the one that lost last week to Tennessee.
This is certainly the team that the Pittsburgh Steelers saw in week 1, a ravenous Ravens defense, but certainly this explosion in the passing game is one we haven't seen at all this year so far.
First play of the 2nd quarter, 3rd down and 3, and they get a 1st down. Good looking catch by Ed Dixon. Gain of 5. Coverage on the play by Chamberlain. Move the chains.
Oh, week 1, boy, this defense got after Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. 4 sacks, 3 interceptions. Remember, they 7 takeaways in that game. And then last week, boy, it was just 358 yards allowed to Matt Hasselbeck, who carved up the Baltimore Ravens defense. Poor play at the cornerback position, but they couldn't get any pressure. No sacks on Matt Hasselbeck in that game.
Into 5 defensive backs. It's 1st and 10. Aiming for Bolden. Coverage on the play by Justin King.
And
2nd down and 10.
I thought Joe Flacco could have thrown that one better. That one was thrown on a rope, right on the line, and maybe just dropping it in and feathering it over the top. I thought Bolden had the defensive back beaten and could have run under it had the ball come in on a better trajectory.
Second down and 10. Rice remains. Now 4 in the secondary for St. Louis. Over the block on Long. Flacco, he needs the 44. He's chased in the play by Papinga. I think he's going to be shy. He is by about a yard as he races to the far side, the 45-yard line, and a gain of 9.
All right, take a look at this. If the pocket disintegrates, Flacco's still mobile enough to get away. He's 6'6", long but not lumbering. Very nifty of feet to outrun linebackers to get to that sideline. Didn't have to slide on that one. And look at the passing yards right now for St. Louis.
Rams told us on Friday, they said he has deceptive speed, and they're right, he does. Flacco. 3rd down and a yard. Rush by Bannon. Flacco. It was caught, but perhaps out of bounds. And it was grabbed in the play by Laquan Williams. Rookie free agent. He's also from Maryland. But it was incomplete. He was out of play.
Here you see Flacco on the run while the defense gives chase. Late throw to Williams. Caught it, but not with both feet inbounds.
Look like they're missing Lee Evans at my chair on this 4th down. 4th and a yard. Flacco. They'll run for the first down. And Fletcher will touch him. And he moves the chains down to the 40-yard line on a scamper of 6.
You know, we talk about setting the edge. You got to set the edge. Look at that. Set the edge. Where are the defensive ends? Not keeping vision on the quarterback. That's just way too easy. If you're the defensive end, you're Robert Quinn. First-round pick out of North Carolina. Missed his entire senior season at North Carolina where he was under NCAA suspension. But you got to play with greater awareness on that play.
First down and 10 for Joe Flacco and Quan Bolden. Brought down by the 2-time Pro Bowler Al Harris, who played for Miami last year. 5-yard gain down to about the 35-yard line.
They're throwing everybody at Anquan Bolden. And Al Harris, a longtime veteran, is healthy. You see him chasing down Bolden with a very physical and aggressive tackle, but still not enough speed to stay with Bolden, keep him from making the catch.
There was a lot of talk about the fact Grubbs had been missed in that front line in the game against Tennessee, and Gerard seemingly doing his job. As you can see, the 24-21 first quarter points by the Ravens. 2nd down and 5. Rice to the 32-yard line. That's where he goes, and he was brought down to the play by James Hall. Gain of 2.
You know, Grubbs had 56 consecutive starts at that left tackle position, playing in a contract year. You expect him to be able to stay healthy. Remember, Gerard was released by the Dallas Cowboys, comes over, had been an all-pro center over there, and had never really played that guard position, playing it for the very first time, and he's playing next to big Bryant McKinney, so they at least have been able to stabilize the left side of that offensive line with veteran offensive linemen.
3rd down and a short 3 with Flacco looking for his tight end Dixon. And the coverage was applied on the play by Craig Dahl. So it's incomplete. They're going to try for 3.
You know, a lot of balls flying right through the St. Louis Rams secondary. And even when the Ravens offensive players can't get to them, see, if you're Dahl, you got to find that play. You got to find the ball and make a play on it. And so with as many throws as Flacco has thrown in his secondary, some he's hit on, some he's missed on, but the Rams aren't able to come away with any. And we talked about their need to create turnovers on defense.
So Billy Cundiff missed earlier from 51 yards. He'll try another 51-yarder right here to the other end. He had the distance last time. He had the distance this time, and again he misses wide. 2 missed 51-yard field goals to the dismay of John Harbaugh. And his team is shutting out the Rams 21-zip early in the 2nd quarter. After the missed 51-yard field goal by Cundiff of the Ravens, here's pretty good beginning field position for Bradford from his 41. 1st down and 10. And Cadillac Williams to the 44. And a gain of 3. Jameel McClain brings him down. And coming up on the Sprint halftime report, James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights. From New York, it's coming your way next, the Sprint halftime report. Here on CBS, 2nd down and 7.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a no-huddle offense from St. Louis so far. At least try to change up the tempo and tenor of the game.
Cadillac again on 2nd down and 7. Works his way to the 50-yard line and brought down on the play once again by McClain.
And how about the Baltimore Ravens defense after a lackluster performance 1 week ago? They are on point, shutting down everything on reverse plays, getting pressure on the quarterback, just teeing off on Sam Bradford. Already 2 sacks in the ball game and only allowing a minus 10 yards passing by the St. Louis Rams. And there's Chuck Pagano, defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, the 5th defensive coordinator in Baltimore.
Long list of good ones. 3rd and 1. Cadillac Williams. He may have corkscrewed for the first down there as Reed came up from the safety. A pickup of 2. Looks like they'll use the change. The Ravens had criticized a little bit in the local media about the lack of a pass rush. They have gotten a pass rush today on Bradford.
Yeah, Chuck Pagano dialing them up, and we got a little skirmish down on the field. And a little chippy. Lodi Nada, we were talking with Ray Lewis about their defensive coordinators, and might want to buy stock in whoever that guy is. They tend to do well after, taking that post. Next thing you know, they're a head coach somewhere in the National Football League. Marvin Lewis, Mike Nolan, Rex Ryan have all moved on from that position, and they love this guy, Chuck Pagano. He's a player's coach who relates very well to players. Have been elevated from the secondary coach, now becoming the defensive coordinator.
Rams do get a first down. 48-yard line. And Steven Jackson is back in as you take a look at Josh McDaniels. Not much of this New England offense has yet been installed for this Rams offense.
Yeah, they were keeping it simple for the young quarterback.
Jackson with the block. 1st and 10 for Bradford. Chased by Redding. Finds his backpedaling receiver Brandon Gibson across the way. Out of bounds at about the 44 with a gain of 4.
Yeah, to talk about the defense coordinators who have served here for the Baltimore Ravens. Marvin Lewis, Mike Nolan, all left to become head coaches. So did Rex Ryan, who now resides with the New York Jets. And Greg Madison's now the defense coordinator for the University of Michigan. So that's a pretty good gig by coaching standards. And Chuck Pagano, you might say there's good things in his future when you have Ray Lewis and Ed Reed playing for your defense.
2nd down and 6, Bradford. And again, he's got his receiver, Brandon Gibson. Kerry Williams on the near side. Reed in the vicinity. The gain to the 38. Close to a first down. About a 6-yard pickup right there. And here's Bradford now picking up some rhythm with his quarterback.
Yeah, quietly we're seeing Sam Bradford starting to make some moves. You see the numbers on him. He's been hit and knocked down 6 times in the ball game. Hurried very often in a couple of sacks and some batted balls. But, he hasn't turned it over. We talked about him being a very poised young quarterback. And now they're approaching that red zone area. This might be an area where you want to take a shot down the field.
Arthur Jones on that defensive line for Baltimore. 1st and 10. Cadillac is in with the block. Out of the reach and incomplete at about the 27-yard line, and intended for the rookie out of Wisconsin, 2nd-round pick Lance Kendricks. Incomplete, and Kerry Williams is over there. 2nd down and 10.
Kerry Williams, 29, the 3rd-year player from Washburn, in coverage there. And I think it's very good coverage, forcing the throw to the outside where they're not able to haul it in for the St. Louis Rams, but they're dealing with some injuries in that Baltimore Ravens secondary.
A lot. They are thin, although they got 5 in there right now. Chris Carr has come back in the game. 2nd down and 10. Cadillac Williams bumped into Ray Lewis, who somehow kept his balance. And a good bouncing run right there by Cadillac Williams. A pickup of 6 to the 32.
Talk about this secondary for the Ravens being banged up, and last week it was actually Sam Bradford. He's the guy that you talk about no huddle, his ability to make plays in the passing game. Look at this throw, pinpoint accuracy, throwing the ball where only his guy can get it. So we have to see him do that here today. When he's had time to throw the ball, he's been able to do it.
3rd down and 3. Blitz is on. Bradford crushed, incomplete for Alexander. Coverage by Williams. Jarrett Johnson among a couple coming up and putting the pressure on the quarterback, Bradford.
Yeah, he did get some pressure. Look at Suggs. And then also Haloti Ngata, like a freight train, running through Sam Bradford. A kid that was dealt with some injuries in his career at the University of Oklahoma. As you see, they draw blood from Sam Bradford, but proven to be more durable early in his career here in St. Louis.
Rookies last year in the NFL for rookie passing attempts and completions. 4th down and 3 for Bradford. Low, and that was a foul called on Williams. They were going to Denario Alexander. That's going to go against the Baltimore Ravens, and that should be a first down for St. Louis.
Williams had, he was holding on a little bit.
Interference, defense, number 29. Ball will be placed, spot on the foul, first down.
Now, he did the right thing. You cannot allow Alexander to get across your face and beat you going into the middle of the field. See, if he's not trying to slice underneath and knock that ball down, Alexander's going to catch it and maybe run for big-time yards.
Foxworth inactive today. He's still battling that knee, which was surgically repaired a year ago. Ninth play of the drive, and the Rams are going to talk things over. 7:56 to play in the first half. It's all Baltimore. Here in beautiful St. Louis with Solomon Wilcots, Kevin Harlan. Timeout just taken by Bradford. He's on the move. 25 of Baltimore. It's first down and 10. Williams in the backfield for Bradford. And Cadillac the call. That nickname when he was in high school is he was such a smooth running back when he was in Alabama. Sportscaster gave him that tag. Suggs gets off him. It's a gain of 2. They'll mark him at the 23.
And look at Steve Spagnuolo wondering what's going on with this team, and they've gotten off to a tough start simply because they've had a very tough and difficult schedule. This is their third consecutive opponent with 10 or more wins during the 2010 season. Both the Eagles, Giants, and now the Ravens, and it doesn't get any easier from here.
5 in the secondary, second down and 8. Here's another first down run by Cadillac Williams, playing with a bad hamstring. Took very few snaps in practice this week. All the way, there's a flag and a late hit all the way to the 13-yard line. It was a 9-yard pickup. As we have some more chippiness after the play between these two teams.
Jason Smith, number 77, was scraping with a couple of players and then took one and ended up sitting on his pants.
Well, there's a lot of frustration here in St. Louis with this ball club. A year ago, they were 6-6, then finished.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 77 offense. Delivering a blow to the head, 15-yard penalty.
That was on Jason Smith. But then they ended last season losing 3 of 4. They have lost the first 2 games this season, so they've lost 5 of their last 6 overall.
Look here. See him going at it. Number 97, Arthur Jones for the Ravens. Takes a shot. Look at that.
Mike Vick in Philadelphia opened up the season here. Week 1, they went to Monday Night Football in the Meadowlands against the Giants. Week 2, and now the Ravens week 3. That's a pretty tough way to begin the season.
Spagnuolo's not happy with that call. Felt like his guy, Jason Smith, took the worst of it.
It is a first down and 10 from the 29. Dead ball fine. Short drop. And they go outside. That was Austin Pettis. It's a gain of 3. His first NFL reception. And they'll move him down to the 27-yard line as you take a look at the schedule coming up in October for the Rams.
Wow, take a look at that. And they're playing a lot of teams in the, of course, the NFC East and the AFC North. Teams like Green Bay, Dallas, New Orleans. They don't play a divisional game in the NFC West until November 6th against Arizona.
So Pettis makes his first NFL reception. 3rd-round pick out of Boise State. Second down and 7. The blitz. His receiver fell. That will be picked off. Lardarius Webb at the 3. Webb comes up with it. Intercepting the quarterback for the Rams. And a turnover right there. Everything going wrong for the Rams in this first half.
Nario Alexander falls down and the ball is thrown up. Quarterback trusting the receiver. Picked off. Interception. The Rams are struggling.
Baltimore receivers, Solomon, the first 2 games had only combined for 9 receptions. Today, that guy with 3 touchdown catches. Bolden's got some great catches. 7 among the wide receivers for the Ravens.
Well, they're starting to flourish. It's been a point of emphasis the last couple of weeks, and it's now paying off.
There goes a flag. As an interception by Webb sets up this
Ball
possession.
Start. Offense, number 84. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's the tight end, Ed Dixon.
Take a look. Oh, there's the movement. There's the move. Can't move towards the line of scrimmage prior to the snap of the ball. Illegal motion.
It's first down and 11. We have a couple of tight ends. They got around McKinney. That pass goes to Bolden. He picks up 3. Lieber was there in the linebacking core to make the stop for the Rams at the 5.
Oh, yeah, and Quinn was closing in very quickly at times. You take a look at the stats so far here in today's game. Joe Flacco lighting it up, 191 yards passing. The running game hasn't really gotten going for either team so far. Both running backs being held down, but what a game by Torrey Smith. 133 yards on 3 catches, all 3 going for touchdowns.
Second down and 8. To Smith, slashing inside for the first down to the 15-yard line. He picks up 11 on the quick hitter. He was brought down by King, and a first down for the Ravens.
You mean this one didn't go for a touchdown? Just a quick slap? He's willing? Wow. To go into the teeth of the defense and take a lick? How about that? The rookie putting in some of the dirty work in this offense.
First and 10 from the 16. And Smith going up for it, battling King. The former Terrapin football coach, Ralph Friedgen, really gave a nice word of encouragement to the Ravens about this wide receiver he had coached, Torrey Smith. The interesting thing is, and you were talking a bit about his background before on draft day, as his name was going around the draft room, John Harbaugh was reading a story about this kid. He said he had tears rolling down his cheeks reading about this kid's background.
Here's a kid that's very bright, and when you're the oldest of 7 children and your mother is going to community college, working at night, and you're forced to kind of play the surrogate role and be a father for some of your siblings, and to do that with wonderful grace, I think it speaks to who this kid really is.
There's a second and 10 pass to the tight end, goes to Ed Dixon. He's in his second season, a lot of youth in the receiving core, tight end and wide receiver. Pickup of 9 right there is up to the 25. Flacco looks very comfortable today with receivers like Smith.
Yeah, well, I think it starts with the protection, and we've seen Flacco save himself from harm's way with his ability to move, and I know Cam Cameron really did want these young receivers to start to contribute. I don't know that anyone thought they would burst on the scene like what we've seen today, particularly from Torrey Smith.
Third down and 1, the shifty Rice. Oh, he makes a miss, breaking their ankles. He broke 2 in the secondary. He's chased by Fletcher and stiff arms his way with a flag thrown all the way to the 22. What a run by the elite running back, Ray Rice. About a 50-yard romp with one defender after another in his wake. Boy, that was beautiful.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, 32 defense, 15-yard penalty, end of the run, first down.
Oh, you just love Ray Rice. You sit down, you talk to him, you find out he is one of the emerging leaders on this team. Watch the cutback. Now against the unblocked defender. 2 of them he makes miss, and then a third one on the cutback move, and he's trying to go for pay dirt here. He wants a touchdown. Look at the stiff arm. And only a face mask tackle gets him on the ground. Look at Bowden on the peelback block, and he has one man to beat. He wants to beat Bradley as well. Nice. Look at that. Bradley Fletcher with the stiff arm, nearly going for a touchdown. Ray Rice is one heck of a player.
Darian Stewart and Justin King whiffed on the tackle attempts. Ricky Williams has just checked in. First down and 10 at the Rams 11. Here comes Papinga, and there goes Dixon with the catch. He works on Dahl near the 5, and a gain of about 5.
Just a reverse boot. You start one way, reverse it out the other way, try to get your fullback into the flat, and you drag the tight end across. There you see him connecting and hitting on that play, looking to punch it in for another touchdown.
Rice back in on second down and 4. Burke was leading the way, and then they jump on his back, led by James Hall. And he carves out a couple down to the 3.
You talk about Rice emerging as a leader. It was he who took the young rookie receivers to the side. Torrey Smith, Laquan Williams, Tandon Dawson said, hey, it's going to take one catch, one play for you guys to start contributing to this football team. That's all we're looking for. Is one catch. He challenged them, but then told them how they could contribute to winning. He knew that they would need these young players to play well today in order for them to win, and Torrey Smith certainly has responded.
Haloti Ngata is a tackle eligible. 3rd and 2. Leach, bad pass. Ngata was running a corner pattern.
Quentin Michaels provided the pressure. He's the one that foiled the play and the throw from Joe Flacco.
I guess they feel when they're paying Ngata $40 million guaranteed over the next couple of years and $61 over the course of his brand new contract that they can use him on offense as well.
Look at Cundiff. You think Cundiff is feeling the heat on this 21-yard field goal attempt after missing the previous two for over 50?
And we're talking about an all-pro kicker a season ago, but he's missed two 51-yarders. And he'll try here from 21. And he whacks that baby through from 21 yards away. A 50-yard run by Ray Rice sets up the 21-yard field goal. Well, the baseball Cardinals were in town. Ray Rice is in town. He's carried it 6 times for 76 yards. He set up that 21-yard field goal by Billy Cundiff, and the Ravens extend their lead after getting embarrassed last week to Matt Hasselbeck and the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, and the ensuing kickoff by Cundiff. And Jarius Norwood will take it out for St. Louis. And hit and brought down by the special teams play of Albert McClellan. 20-yard return. Well, tonight on CBS, don't miss Emmy Award-winning Juliana Margulies in the season premiere of The Good Wife. Catch it on its new night in time. It's tonight after The Amazing Race, and it's only on CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. From the 15-yard line, first down and 10. You and I during that break were just watching highlights of New England's loss in Buffalo. You and I did the Bills and Raiders last week in Buffalo.
And we're not surprised by what the Bills did, but we are surprised about the 4 interceptions from Tom Brady.
Absolutely. And a timeout taken here by Baltimore. I don't know if they were not right, and they got to get their shorts straight right here. So a timeout taken. 3:01 to play in the first half. For that Baltimore timeout, here's a 1st and 10 handoff as Ray Lewis brings down Steven Jackson, who did start today. He had hurt his quad after 2 carries in the opener against Philadelphia, missed last week against the Giants. A surprise starter after taking out a single snap in practice this week. He picks up a 4 right there. He's up to the 19.
He's been a bell cow here for the St. Louis Rams. Good player on some bad teams. 6 consecutive seasons over 1,000 yards rushing.
Second down and 6-0. The blitz is on. Alexander watches that whistle away. Coming up the middle and taking a full shot at Bradford. Bernard Pollard from the secondary for the Ravens.
Take a look at these possessions after you talk about Pollard getting to the quarterback. And this is just amazing. 5 consecutive punts, then an interception. So this is an offense that's going nowhere. We talked about Josh McDaniels coming in to install this offense, but not a whole lot of time to get it done with the lockout and the lack of OTAs and the lack of a minicamp.
3rd down and 6 into 5 in the secondary for Bradford. Again the rush. And he escapes. Nada on the way. Almost picked off. Incomplete. And Pollard, 31, who blitzed last time, the ex-Chief Texan, just about had it. That's 3 and out.
Watch Sam Bradford in the pocket. He understands that the pocket's disintegrating. You only get so long to stand in there in the National Football League. Now you have to escape. Find someone to try to throw it to, but look at the tight coverage. And Pollard nearly intercepted that one, and after tipping it up, Ray Lewis almost came away with it.
Donnie Jones has been a busy guy today for the St. Louis Rams. 4th down and 3, and lets this fly. Webb, who had a 29-yard punt return earlier in the game, all the way back to his 22. Chamberlain chases, and then he is forced out of bounds. Dominique Curry was the one to force him out of play. Well, coming up minutes from now in New York, it's the Sprint Halftime Report with JB and company. Scores, highlights, and news. Boy, did we have close games in the opening window of the NFL today. That's all coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report from our CBS studios. So here comes Flacco, who's thrown 3 touchdown passes today, all to rookie Torrey Smith with his first 3 receptions in the NFL. I mean, I can't believe anyone has ever done that. We're still going through Stats Inc. in Chicago trying to dig this up, but it looks like he has set an NFL mark today with it. From the 38 of Baltimore. 1st and 10. Blocked by McKinney. Flacco. Had a nice run earlier in the game, did Flacco, and he's in fact carried the ball 4 times for 24 yards. As we reach the 2-minute warning, Ravens steamrolling the Rams. You can see what the Rams have got ahead of them. The greatest comeback, trailing at halftime. They've been there before. Here they go, break and huddle. The Ravens 2nd down and 8 from the 40. Rice in the backfield. He's run for 77 yards here in the first half. Flacco has thrown 3 touchdown passes. Quick one outside. Laquan Williams, his first catch. Undrafted out of Maryland, picks up 7 on the play to the 47. It'll be 3rd down and 1. He's a strong player. John Harbaugh said they love the strength of this rookie.
Was a teammate of Torrey Smith's at the University of Maryland.
The back keeper by Flacco. And they get the first down, gain of 3. Harbaugh's record after a loss is amazing. It's like 12-4 in the years he's been coaching at Baltimore. So you knew he would have them revved up and ready. They were very focused last night, I thought, in our meetings with him.
And last week was probably an anomaly. Very seldom do they lose to sub-500 teams. Only twice in their last 20 games.
Here comes Quinn. Get the pass away. A little screen. Rice picking and poking his way and out of bounds. He flies at the 35-yard line. Knocked out of bounds there by James Butler. 15-yard catch and what looked like was going to be a sack and a first down.
Well, these guys, look at Ray Rice. It's another Maurice Jones-Drew. Very similar kind of player. Can do-it-all guy. You better have a low target line when you go to tackling because he's strong enough to step out of you, and he doesn't give you a whole lot to hit. Equally good at running the ball and catching it out of the backfield, but what a really delight to talk to, because after such a disappointing game last week, he said, look, it's up to the players to find a solution to get this thing turned around.
Yeah, last week only 13 carries and 43 yards for Rice. First down and 10. Looping it for Rice. That's incomplete. Dahl with the coverage. And here in St. Louis, if anybody can appreciate what a guy like Ray Rice brings with his pass receiving ability, with his running ability, it's St. Louis fans because of Marshall Faulk, and he had that same kind of feel to his game when he played for St. Louis.
Absolutely. He gave them that, and you know, if you're talking about the Rams, one thing they've had over the years is running backs. You know, all the other positions they could probably do better, but they've had those kind of players, and Baltimore have themselves one in Ray Rice.
Ricky Williams is in on this 2nd down and 10. Wide open. Find the tight end, Ed Dixon out of Oregon. He makes the catch, picks up a first down, 13-yard pickup, and Torrey Smith is hobbling.
Something they can ill afford. They're already banged up at wide receiver.
They are.
He's playing in Lee Evans' stead today.
Lee's got the ankle. They're going to shut him down for a while. First down and 10 for Flacco. And he finds Ricky Williams. Makes another Ram miss, and finally Dahl will get him around the ankles at about the 13-yard line. That's an 11-yard reception. It's another first down. Clock is ticking, as you can see. Baltimore with a single timeout remaining.
They're going to get Torrey Smith out of the ball game. He's limping less than 100%.
First and 10 for Flacco. To the end zone, and Al Harris got caught up with Bolden. There is no flag on the play. 2nd down.
That's just good coverage by Al Harris. He jammed Anquan Bolden at the line of scrimmage. Bolden couldn't get to that top end in the back of the end zone. Look, the first rookie whose first 3 career receptions were for touchdowns.
Since 91. I wonder who that was back in 1991.
So it has been done before.
Interesting. It had been done by Mike Vrabel, but we're talking just wide receiver. Yes. 2nd down and 10. Terrific day for Flacco. 263 passing yards, 3 touchdown passes. 2nd and 10. He's got it. And the turn there by Tandon Doss as he shook the defense at Justin King. He couldn't catch up with it. Doss, a 4th-round pick out of Indiana, another freshman.
The early throw by Flacco, look, he takes a hit. That's why he has to get rid of it so soon. That's Chris Long just putting it on Flacco. And I thought Tandon Doss just couldn't quite find the ball, so he kind of let up a little bit as he was running the route. Couldn't locate the ball in the air thrown by Flacco.
Doss was inactive the first 2 games, so he seeing his first NFL action today. Here's a 31-yard field goal try by Billy Cundiff. And he'll drill it 27-0. Baltimore as time expires, and that takes us to halftime as the boos come cascading down on these Rams who come in winless at 0-2. What a first half. for the Baltimore Ravens and for rookie Torrey Smith. To New York next, you're watching the NFL on CBS.
Passing yards, only 3, we should say right now, for the St. Louis Rams. So they are struggling to get anything going on offense.
So a kickoff coming up for St. Louis. Laquan Williams is back. He's been playing special teams first couple games. He's out of Maryland, and the undrafted rookie will take it out and finds a bit of a seam and is brought down by Darian Stewart near the 29, 36-yard return.
Well, the Baltimore Ravens, we said they land the overhand right 74-yard touchdown pass from Flacco to the rookie Torrey Smith, then a 41-yarder all in the first quarter, then an 18-yarder, and Ray Rice got it going in the running game, a 53-yard run. So we've seen some big-time plays, 12 plays of 10 yards or more in the first half for Coach Harbaugh's offense. And boy, look at that. Just the passing yards, 264, and then 406 total yards, both franchise records in the first half for the Ravens.
Here's Rice on first down and 10 to the 32-yard line, and he was brought down on the play by Laurinaitis. It is a pickup of 4. James Laurinaitis, who has led this team in tackles the first couple years, he's out of Ohio State. And no huddle here for the Ravens as they begin the second half, leading 27-0. Second down and 6. Rice on the ground, 7 carries, 80 yards. Vontae Leach with the block. That ball was tipped at the line. I don't know if Bannon got in there or Long, but they got in the wheelhouse of the quarterback Flacco. Incomplete.
Pressure in the face of the quarterback. Bannon understands if you're right around that line of scrimmage, you're not getting penetration into the backfield, get your hands up, might be able to knock one down and turn it into an interception, but Bannon made a nice play.
Torrey Smith, who we saw at the end of the first half kind of limping, is out there to start the second half for the offense of Baltimore. Third down and a long 6. Looking into 5 defensive backs is quarterback Joe Flacco. Into the blitz. Rice. First down. He makes 2 more Rams miss, where the tackling has been shoddy by St. Louis, weaving his way to the 49. It's a 20-yard catch and run, a first down for Baltimore.
Many quarterbacks will tell you, we want you to blitz. You see the blitz here? Now that means you've got one-on-one on the back end, and so when you allow Ray Rice to get loose, now watch this, try to tackle this. Okay, at the second level of the defense. He breaks ankles, as you said, Kevin, very elusive.
Ricky Williams is in on first and 10. He's into Bannon. Off down on the play after a gain of 2 of Chris Chamberlain. Not as far as the 47-yard line. The offensive line has been kind of a revolving type of situation since the end of last year. Orr goes to the right tackle. Kenny is signed 2 weeks before the season begins. They get Gerard September 5th. He starts today at left guard. I mean, there have been a lot of changes on that line.
And Matt Burke, a kid from Harvard, of course, a longtime veteran. They thought he would be the guy to break down, and he's been the most steady.
Second naked block by Ricky Williams outside Vontae Leach. He was brought down by Brady Papinga, the ex-Packers. 7-yard catch and run. They're just rolling right along to the 40-yard line of St. Louis.
For a minute, you thought Vontae Leach was Ricky. He moves so well. And here's Steven Jackson riding the bike. And boy, we got ourselves some real decorated running backs playing in this game.
And third down in the yard, Flacco takes it himself. We asked John Harbaugh last night, the Baltimore coach, what's one of the tougher things people may not think about playing in a dome? He says, sometimes, especially early, it's hard to catch your breath when you're playing inside.
So it can get a little stuffy. Sometimes it tends to be a little warmer than, what you would want it to be. And certainly when you talk about players and their conditioning and hitting the ground running, he felt like there was going to be a number of teams struggling around the National Football League with the lockout. With the shortened time to prepare your team, he said there's going to be some teams struggling through the month of September to find themselves.
Told you in the first half, 12-4 after a loss. Here is Rice on first and 10, and he's hit by Papinga. He picks up 2 down to the 36-yard line. But 12-4 is a pretty nice record after a loss by any coach, but this guy's taken his team to the playoffs 3 consecutive seasons.
And if people are shocked by what occurred in Western New York earlier today, the Buffalo Bills beating the New England Patriots, I think that's a testament to what Coach Harbaugh is talking about. Even the Patriots, the perfect New England Patriots, stumbled in Buffalo, still trying to find themselves, still having to improve. And we know Buffalo has improved. But boy, they look good right now with Ryan Fitzpatrick leading the way at quarterback.
2nd down and 8 for Flacco. Here comes Long to throw right into the blitz, and it goes to Rice. He has been dynamite with the catch and run today. Poppinga got him from behind. 16-yard catch and run earlier on this drive. He had a 20-yard catch and run.
And we said it in our open. He comes into today's game as the Baltimore Ravens' leading rusher and receiver. He's a weapon as a check down option and in the screen game for Joe Flacco. And we said that when he plays well, everyone in this offense tends to play well. You can look at the rushing and receiving numbers right now. His yards from scrimmage, 143 yards so far in the game.
Ricky Williams taking his place right now. 1st down and 10 yards to go. Williams picks up the blitz to the end zone for Bolden. Caught out of bounds. Anquan Bolden covered on the play by Justin King.
How did he even catch it?
That's a good question.
And was his feet in bounds? And I'm telling you right now, this was going to be close. Take a look at the coverage by King. Draped all over Bolden, who makes the catch 2 feet on the chalk. Look at that. 1 and then 2 inside of that pylon. Wow. This one is just a breath away from being a touchdown. Yeah, his feet are on the white and not in the green.
2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line of the Rams. Blitz again. Flacco. They were going for Pitta, who is covered by Michael. And he was drilled, was the quarterback, by Laurinaitis.
Well, there was certainly contact there. I guess they're saying Pitta would have never made the catch, but that one is going to be very curious, because I thought he was certainly interrupted. Look, tripped up there by Quentin Michael, number 27. Now he's beyond the 5-yard down the field. Ooh, Laurinaitis just plows right through Joe Flacco. It's a physical game even for the quarterback.
It is, even when you're leading 27-zip. 3rd down and 10. Look at the time. And the throw right through his hands. Al Harris was on Bolden. And I don't know if Harris touched that ball, but Bolden looked like he did have a stab at it, but it may have been deflected by the Pro Bowler Harris.
Al Harris can still play. 14 years in the NFL. Look at this play. He nearly intercepted just enough to distract Anquan Bolden. That ball, I don't think Harris was able to touch it, but clearly disrupted the vision and throwing the ball off just a little bit where Anquan Bolden couldn't haul it in.
Billy Cundiff out of Drake, which is a little school in Des Moines, Iowa. Here's a 38-yard field goal by him. 3 more on the board for the Baltimore Ravens. 30-0 over St. Louis. Boy, John Harbaugh's got him dialed in today. Beautiful shots of the Arch, Mississippi, and the Dome here in downtown St. Louis. Well, we've had field goals of 38 and 31 yards by Cundiff and 21 yards. He's kicked 3 consecutive field goals. Jarius Norwood is deep back for the St. Louis Rams, getting shut out on what they thought would be a much more profitable day after losing Monday night in the Meadowlands. Norwood, leave it in the end zone. So we'll get another look at Sam Bradford. Let's see if they speed up this offense. They got a lot of ground to make up in 10:29 to play in the 3rd. We're tasting St. Louis too, our crew was, with ribs and everything else here in downtown St. Louis after the kickoff. And the touchback, Bradford from his 20-yard line, 1st down and 10. Cadillac Williams in the backfield. And stuffed up. Jarrett Johnson among a couple to make the stop. Cody getting off the pile. It's a gain of 4. He's up to the 24-yard line. It was interesting talking to John Harbaugh yesterday when he was talking about Sam Bradford. And a great deal of accolades coming from every member of the Ravens. But he says you can see that Sam has watched a lot of Tom Brady tape.
Yeah, and he also said that Sam Bradford was going to be an elite quarterback. And obviously you would study Tom Brady, who played in the same offensive system under Josh McDaniels with the New England Patriots.
Here's a 2nd down and 6. Cadillac Williams has led Auburn up to the 27-yard line and picks up 3. Darius Webb among a couple, making the stop with Ray Lewis Let's take you to New York and James Brown.
Ryan Matthews getting it done for San Diego, Coach.
Yeah, Kevin and Sully. Baltimore has Ray Rice, been like that, out of the backfield and running. Ryan Matthews, his second touchdown of the day, puts San Diego up 17-7.
17 carries, 75 yards, 2 touches for Ryan Matthews. Kevin and Solly.
No LT, no problem.
And, Coach, if the Chargers can get any kind of running game to give to Phillip Rivers, boy, that offense would be virtually unstoppable.
3rd and 3 for Bradford. 5 in the secondary for the Baltimore Ravens. And nice pass to Mike Sims-Walker. Back shoulder throw. They work on Webb. They get the first down to the 41. And the pickup on the play of 14 yards.
Yeah, we've got, this offense. They can get it going. And take a look at this with just a back shoulder throw. Really nice throw that time. It takes great anticipation. Wonderful trust in your wide receiver. And Mike Sims-Walker rewards his quarterback, Sam Bradford.
Josh McDaniels, a couple years in Denver where he was fired and he was picked up here as the offensive coordinator. 1st down and 10, Cadillac Williams. Fouled on the play by Cody. Running up, bringing him down. He had a concussion last week, a loss on the play of 2 back to the 39.
Look at the passing yards allowed last week against Tennessee, 358 to Matt Hasselbeck, only 17 so far in this ball game, and got some bad news for the St. Louis Rams because this Baltimore Ravens defense, they've only allowed 1 third-quarter touchdown in their last 25 games in the regular season. So we're here in the 3rd quarter. That doesn't bode well for St. Louis.
2nd down and 12. Suggs, bottom of your screen. Steered outside. That ball's caught by Lance Kendricks. It's the 1st down. Kendricks is down to the 48-yard line, and he picks up 13 yards on the play. They'll move to James.
Give some credit to the offensive line. This is one of the first times that we've seen Sam Bradford be able to stay in the pocket, have some times to go through his progression. This time he finds Kendricks, the big tight end who holds on to it. So this offensive line has to come to life and give their quarterback time to throw the football.
Kendricks was in the running for the Mackey Award in college football, given to the best tight end. Here's a 1st and 10 play action by Bradford. And he's got Kendricks again. Jared Johnson runs him out of bounds. Another 1st down to the Raven 36 and a pickup of 12.
Here's some of your notable 1st overall picks. Terry Bradshaw, take a look at his records. 8-10 with playing with a bunch of future Hall of Famers. And Troy Aikman, 3-15 before he gathered his sea legs and started winning. Peyton Manning struggled a little bit to try to win games, and Sam Bradford besting almost everyone on that board with the exception of Terry Bradshaw in terms of the win-loss column.
Cadillac Williams on 1st and 10. Oh, Suggs. Oh, face mask. Yep, it was. But a gain to the 41-yard line. A loss on the play of 5. Cadillac was taken down. Like I said, he and Steven Jackson did not take many snaps in practice this week because of their individual injuries. So Cadillac is going to come out and Jackson is going to come back in for St. Louis.
Yeah, that'll shake you up a little bit.
It will.
Wrestled to the ground.
There are 2 fouls that were offset. Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, 55 defense, holding, offense, number 63. Those penalties were offset. 1st down.
Jacob Bell for the Rams and Suggs for the Ravens.
Yeah, and here's the tackle by Suggs on Cadillac Williams. Reaches out with that left hand, and there it is. Wow. Cadillac Williams, he's been through his difficult spots and overcoming a few knee injuries, but he's hung in there to carve out himself a really good NFL career, and I still think he can play and has something to give to his team.
1st and 10, Steven Jackson. Badgema with a nice block. That opens the door, and he's down to the 29-yard line, and he picks up 7 on the play. Suggs getting off the pile. Wednesday on Showtime. James Brown, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, Warren Sapp. They return to cable's longest-running show inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime. Talking about Bradford before, this is the 3rd different offense in 3 years, if you go back to Oklahoma in his senior year there, that he's been under.
We talked about the learning curve he has, but you'd love to see him settle into one system.
2nd and 3, Jackson picks up the blitz. And that is caught by Ho Mananui. 10-yard reception. McClain is on the stop. It's a gain to the 19-yard line, of first down.
His coach calls him Illinois Mike. That's easier to pronounce, but yeah, he catches the ball over on the perimeter, and now the Rams are in that dreaded area we call the red zone, where they have struggled so far this year. 5 red zone trips, only 1 score to show so far this season.
Mananui. So that's 15 times. Here we go. First down and 10 from the 19. And that was intended for Kendricks, who's on a couple passes on this drive. And here we talk about the most fouls in a last name this season in the NFL.
All these guys. And Illinois Mike, Laurinaitis, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Mananui.
Personal foul, chop block, number 63, offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's another penalty on Jacob Bell on the offensive line for the Rams.
Look at that, Michael, Mananui. We got that one right. Laurinaitis, very familiar with him, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. You can buy a foul, and he's a big target over the middle of the field. Moves very well and catches the ball well also.
After the penalty, first and 25 from the Baltimore 34. 4 in the secondary for the Ravens. First and 25 for the Rams at the Baltimore 34. Cadillac back in. Here comes Suggs. And looking, he's got him. Touchdown, great catch, Brandon Gibson. And they will review automatically upstairs every scoring play.
This is an incredible throw by Sam Bradford. I think he shows you everything he has on this throw. Rolling out to his right, moving out of the pocket, and great touch. Pinpoint precision on that throw.
He got it in.
2 down and a touchdown. Just a wonderful throw. It was a good catch, but I love the throw from Sam Bradford.
Gibson working on Kerry Williams, who was struck last week by Kenny Britt of Tennessee. Gibson, who came in a trade a couple of years ago from Philadelphia. Here's the extra point put up and through by Josh Brown. So the shutout is gone. Bradford throws a nice touchdown pass to Gibson. And a new score here at the Dome in St. Louis. 5:14 to play in the third. A 34-yard touchdown pass. Touchdown pass by Sam Bradford. 34 yards to Brandon Gibson.
That's that touchdown in the third quarter against the Ravens defense, where they are not prone to giving those up. Only the second third quarter touchdown they've given up in 26 games.
Bradford was 5 of 5 on that drive, and here is Laquan Williams. He'll bring it out for the Ravens. He's hit high and hit low and walked down on the play by Darian Stewart. 23-yard return timeout. You can go for a ride up in that arch. Getting a little cart takes you all the way up there with the beautiful view of downtown St. Louis and the Mississippi River. After the touchdown pass of 34 yards by Bradford, the subsequent kickoff to the 14-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go for Flacco. Anquan Bolden. And he was hit by Justin King. Picks up 12. First down to the 26.
Take another look at that touchdown pass. Look at Bradford's going to roll out here. And here's Gibson up top on the post route. But watch how he overthrows the outstretched arms of Kerry Williams, the cornerback, who feels like he's got a great angle on that ball, but it's just a better throw than you have in coverage. Just a heck of an arm. What a whip from Sam Bradford.
Ricky Williams in the backfield, first down and 10. Another good strike. Bolden again. And they jump on his back across the way. Another good play. Quentin Michael with the tackle, the catch and run to the 48. 22-yard pickup by Bolden after his catch of 12 moments ago.
That's his 7th catch of the game for Anquan Bolden. He's putting in work, and you know, they've targeted him several times in the game, and he's getting a lot of attention in coverage. Often double covered and help over the top. That's why the other wide receivers had to get going.
Ricky Williams on first and 10. Well, we know that they've been looking for a third receiver as he picks up 4 and he's into Ram territory at the 49. We know that Baltimore's been looking for that third receiver. When Lee Evans becomes healthy and you combine him with Torrey Smith and the other young kids and Bolden, maybe that has been answered with the performance of Smith this afternoon.
Well, they certainly should have something working there. And then you have Dixon and Pitta, the two tight ends who they'd like to incorporate in their offense, much in the same way we saw the New England Patriots blend two young tight ends into their offense. And so if these weapons can emerge, boy, this Baltimore Ravens, they can be a tough out in the postseason.
2nd down and 6. Monte Leach. Kapinga has a beat on him. No gain on the play. They'll stay at the 49. Kapinga's blown a knee. Green Bay, he was cut free, and part of the free agency signing of this Rams team was to get players like him and Justin Bannon and others.
Yeah, Billy Devaney, the general manager of this team. Remember, there was a short window to try to add players because free agency occurred at the same time the lockout ended, trying to get rookie who were drafted, trying to get those guys signed. They wanted to add depth at running back, wanted to add an outside linebacker like they did with Kapinga, wanted to try to get a wide receiver to help with Sam Bradford in the passing game as well.
Looking at 5 defensive backs. 3rd down and 6. And it was caught but out of bounds, or did he did not grab it? It was Dixon who caught the ball out of play. The pressure applied by Eugene Sims, and Baltimore's got a punt.
It certainly was pressure in the face of Flacco, who goes down, but you can see that ball's thrown high outside, so Dixon's not able to come down with it. That's what pressure does to quarterbacks, throws off the accuracy.
Austin Pettis is back to get this ball. He is a rookie out of Boise State, the 3rd-round pick in the first game that he has been active for. Sam Cook is going to punt inside the 40-yard line for Baltimore. With that Australian rules type kick where they kick it on the toe. They're caught back at about the 9 by Austin Pettis. Well-placed punt. Bradford back out there. Moments ago, he threw a touchdown pass. And their last drive was a successful one for the St. Louis Rams.
The previous 7, though, only 96 yards total offense and 80 yards on that last possession for the Rams.
From the 9 after the Baltimore punt, the first of the afternoon for them. 1st down and 10. The handoff to Cadillac Williams. Brought down on the play by Jameel McClain. And tonight on CBS, former NFL Colts player Marcus Pollard, former tight end for them and a college basketball player, competes in the Amazing Race. Plus, Survivor winners Ethan and Jenna. Don't miss the season premiere of The Amazing Race. That's tonight after 60 minutes, only on CBS. Josh McDaniels trying to come up with something to reinvigorate this offense. 2nd down and 5. Oof. Boy, they came in. Incomplete pass. And that was a big-time hit. It was put on by Redding on Sam Bradford.
Yeah, this one's one of those dangerous ones where your quarterback can get hurt. Now watch that, with the arm up and then slammed into that left shoulder. Yeah, that's not good, but he got up, looked as though he's going to be okay, but whenever big guys land on you and you jam that shoulder into the ground like that, it's not good.
He's already hurt that shoulder as a senior at Oklahoma. Had surgery by Dr. Andrews down in Birmingham. Said it was an AC joint procedure. He didn't know if he was going to be able to throw anymore. It's 3rd down and 5. Blitz is on. And they get it to the near side, and it is caught by the receiver Brandon Gibson right in front of the coverage of Chris Carr's 7-yard pickup, 1st down.
Give Gibson credit for getting to the sticks. Talk about knowing where you're at on the football field. He knew he had to get beyond the 1st down marker. No room to run after the catch, but he went beyond the marker. So upon making the catch, it was for a 1st down.
Here in St. Louis, they're crying for a deep threat. Who will be our deep ball for the quarterback? That is still an issue. Here comes the blitz. Zibikowski was all over Bradford. All he can do is throw it away.
I think he found out just how athletic Bradford is. Remember, played with Blake Griffin while playing at the University of Oklahoma. Had played AAU basketball with Griffin, who's an all-star in the NBA, and so we saw the athleticism of Sam Bradford able to elude the blitzing Zibikowski and get rid of the football.
Said more schools were talking to him about basketball than playing football.
And then Oklahoma called. That changed everything.
They did. That's where he dreamt of playing. That's what he really wanted to do. Basketball was a long second to his first love, football. Here's a 2nd down and 10. He's got his receiver across the way. That is Denario Alexander. Reed is right there with the stop. Gain to the 34. Picks up 13, a first down for the Rams.
Alexander held on to the ball that time. Remember, he was the guy that slipped and fell down as Bradford was intercepted in the first half. You know, Alexander, there are big things expected of him. You watch him in practice, he clearly stands out by far as the most talented receiver that they have, but just doesn't have a whole lot of experience.
First and 10 for Bradford. And here's a pass to the near side. Which is caught by Sims Walker right in front of Ardarius Webb at the 44, pickup of 11, first down for the Rams.
And how about this? St. Louis Rams now for the second consecutive possessions, showing they have some rhythm and chemistry on offense. And they're still working at it. Sam Bradford still throwing strikes and still completing some passes. And look at this catch. We've seen Gibson come up with some biggies so far here in the second half.
Sims Walker right there, lassoing that, the former Jacksonville Jaguar. That'll take us to the end of the third quarter. And we go to the fourth with a commanding lead for Baltimore in St. Louis, Week 3 on CBS. We begin the fourth quarter here in St. Louis with the Rams on a first and 10 at their 45, scoring the last time on a touchdown pass by quarterback Sam Bradford, who's got his team on the move right now. 3 long touchdown passes by Flacco, all 3 to rookie Torrey Smith. Here is a first and 10 pass. Bradford going deep, and he's got Gibson, who drops the ball, working on Kerry Williams. That would have been a spectacular catch. Incomplete.
Oh, Gibson should have hauled this one in. Now watch how he'll momentarily just ease up. See, okay, now watch here. Okay, he stumbles. That's what slowed him up.
Sure is.
Slowed him up just a hair, because I think he would have caught that one running into the end zone. But the little trip right there from Kerry Williams, who gives chase. Look at that. Had it in his hands and couldn't control it after making contact with the ground. Great effort.
He had 53 receptions a season ago for these Rams. He's out of Washington State. Here's a second down and 10. Somebody lost a helmet. As Cadillac Williams weaves his way for 6 to the 50. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Coach, I think this name means money, right?
I'll tell you what, there's speed back in Raiderland. Denarius Moore, maybe the best rookie non-quarterback this year in the league. You couple him with Darren McFadden, this Raider team's for sure. 23 yards on the reverse, 24-17, Oakland.
Money more, if you will. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
High school track champion in Texas. That's what the Raiders like, is speed.
Out of Tennessee. He was money up in Buffalo 1 week ago.
It was something else. Third down and 5 from midfield. Jackson was in for Bradford. And that is a reception. Should be good for a first down. That is by Pettis, who began the week wearing number 83 and switches to number 18. His grandfather, Del Rice, was a baseball catcher for the Cardinals on that 46 World Series winning team. And Pettis, in tribute to his dad, who played here, or his grandfather, who played here in St. Louis in Major League Baseball with the Cardinals, switched to number 18 and comes up with a nice first down reception right there. First down and 10 from the 45. Cadillac Williams at the side of Bradford. Going deep again. Webb was down there as he was watching the receiver, Denario Alexander out of Missouri. Incomplete. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show with James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame report from our CBS studios in New York. There was a face mask penalty while we were away, which will mark this off against St. Louis.
The St. Louis Rams are starting to rack up those penalties. Their coach, Steve Spagnuolo, said, when we met with them on Friday, we have to start beating ourselves. And right now, they're second in the National Football League with the most penalties, second behind the Oakland Raiders.
5 defensive backs, first and 25 for Bradford. And Williams. And Suggs was there to get him. Cody jumping on him too. Gain of 4. Solomon up to about the 44-yard line.
St. Louis Rams struggled, particularly when they get into the fourth quarter of ball games, and they've lost 44 straight games when trailing entering the fourth quarter. It's the longest active streak in the National Football League. So they've struggled to get up to a good start in this game, and they ran into an ornery Baltimore Ravens team who struggled 1 week ago and certainly was overmatched by this Ravens team.
Pollard in the secondary for Baltimore. 2nd down and 21. Oh, there's a miss. Snapped like Bradford jumped on the ball. You can tell where the center, Jason Brown, who used to play, by the way, for Baltimore, might have some issues. He's got Nada right across from him, and the coach, John Harbaugh, was saying Nada sets the personality of our Baltimore defense.
Well, you know what? I think Bradford could have hung in there a little bit. Just he pulled away, I thought, just a little bit. See that ball hitting right in the hands. You got to stay low and ride the center, if you will. Started to pull out prematurely.
McPhee comes in on that defensive line. 3rd and 21 for Sam Bradford, #1 overall selection out of Oklahoma last year. Here they come, and down he goes, and hit by Corey Redding. Battling a bad foot. He's played around the league. 3rd sack recorded today by Baltimore. That'll force a Rams punt.
And you could see, we talked about it, if they could just provide some protection for Bradford, he's going to play well. But didn't have a chance on that play. The pocket collapsed immediately.
Nice play by Redding. Was recently with Detroit. Here's the punt by Donnie Jones. Lardarius Webb circling under at about the 15-yard line. And brought down on the play by Dominique Kerr at about the 21-yard line. Here comes the Baltimore offense leading 30-7. Baltimore has been all over St. Louis today. The 3 touchdown passes by Flacco, all to Torrey Smith. Cundiff has knocked through 3 field goals. Here's a 1st and 10 after the St. Louis punt. Rice was in the backfield. Quinn, the #1 pick out of North Carolina, with the chase. That is caught across the way by the aforementioned Torrey Smith out of Maryland. 8-yard pickup. Out of bounds he goes. You see some of the fantasy numbers across your screen. At the 30-yard line, he's knocked out of bounds.
And Joe Flacco's been on the ground a little bit today. Wow, throwing for 348 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game so far. As you take a look at the numbers, and Ray Rice has made his presence felt.
Here's a 2nd and 2 to Rice, and he was gobbled up before he could even get to the line. Papinga was right there jumping on his back, and there's no gain on the play. Flacco said that, he'd like to get his playmakers the ball earlier. Well, he certainly did that today with the fastest guy on the team, catching his first NFL passes in Torrey Smith.
Well, they dialed up opportunities for him to get the ball down the field. They came into today's game lacking in the vertical stretch, not taking many shots down the field. Cam Cameron, I'm told they worked on it for the last couple of weeks, and he dialed it up early, going to Torrey Smith for a 74-yard start.
5 in the secondary on 3rd down and 3. Oh, he's got Rice, and he's got room to roam. To the 48-yard line of the St. Louis Rams. Dahl finally catches up with him. That's a catch and run at 22. Rice is putting up some fantastic numbers today.
And King is down. He's hurt on the play, but, it's not fair to leave Laurinaitis or any linebacker, for that matter, matched up to one-on-one against the speedy Ray Rice.
We have an injury timeout. Player down, Justin King. The yards here in St. Louis. Here is a 1st and 10 for Baltimore. Player down, King walked off. Flacco. Cannon's got him. Incomplete. Looking for Rice at the 45. Let's go to New York and James Brown.
Rodgers to Finley. Called a lot today, Coach.
Oh, 3 times, JB. You're going to see right here in the scene. This guy didn't play much last year, was hurt, and boy, had another weapon to that arsenal. They're all over Chicago. 27-10, Solly.
That they are, Kevin. And, Coach speaking directly to Solly.
Yeah, the coverage on the back end lacking for the Bears, and you better bring your coverage if you're going to defend against Aaron Rodgers and those talented wide receivers in Green Bay.
2nd down and 10. Looking for Smith. Coverage by the linebacker, Papinga. 3rd down. So getting up slowly. It's he was hobbling at the end of the first half, and here he is again. I don't know if that's a cramp or if he buckled his leg a little bit.
Uh-oh.
You don't like to see that, though.
You do not like to see that. He had been limping
Yes.
a little bit earlier, just at the end of the first half. With the way that he's played, don't want to lose him with this score.
You know, Flacco has got a sizable lead, 9:43 to play. Obviously, the Rams haven't given up. I guess it would go through your mind, how long do you keep him in?
It is, I think, a reasonable question. Obviously, you don't want to lose your quarterback, particularly with the score being what it is. And Tyrod Taylor is the rookie from Virginia Tech. I think maybe even as you get after this possession, maybe you think about getting Flacco out of the game. Would certainly, I think, be a smart thing to do.
Tosses in along with Williams, taking the place of the injured Torrey Smith. 3rd down and 10. Going deep and looking for Williams. What a catch! Flag is down. Butler, did he push off? Butler was defending. Incomplete pass. Could not hold on. Flag thrown. That would have been a beauty. It looked like he was going to get that ball. He had it, but just could not hold on. He was
Interference, offense, number 15. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
before today. He's only been on the field for one play. He's seen some time today.
Yeah, Laquan Williams goes up for it, but there's a little shove right there in the back of Fletcher. Catches it, but can't control it. Remember, there's no such thing as a simultaneous catch. You have to control the catch even after making contact with the ground.
So they got a punt to the Baltimore Ravens. And deep back for the Rams is Austin Pettis out of Boise State. Cook. And that'll ricochet into the end zone for a touchback to the 20-yard line. 9.5 to play. It's been all Baltimore here in St. Louis today. Thunderstorms around the St. Louis area, but our brave pilots took that baby up today, and they're giving us those great scenes. Here's a 1st and 10 after the punt. 2nd consecutive by Baltimore. Touchback to the 20 and Bradford. 1st and 10. Hit as he throws. He gets that one away. That's a catch, and that goes to Mike Sims Walker. Working on Webb, 11-yard pickup and a 1st down. We'll spot him at the 31. Cadillac Williams is in the backfield. 1st and 10. Scott Green, our referee, stopped play. He's been involved in 3 Super Bowls. 2 as a back judge. That's Green. 1st and 10. Ooh, hit hard. Way out of bounds. Boy, the pressure was right there, and it was put on him by Suggs. He's already got a sack today for Baltimore.
All right, one might ask, do you get Bradford out of the game with the score being what it is? He hung in there, took a shot from Terrell Suggs. Now, Suggs is going to help him up. But watch the Ram offensive lineman saying, get off my quarterback. Suggs saying, I'm just trying to help the guy up. I knocked him down.
That was Jason Brown.
Helping him up.
That was Jason Brown, his teammate. They used to play together for the Baltimore Ravens. 2nd down and 10. They're coming again, Cadillac Williams. He and Suggs going mano a mano, and he slides by. Pollard makes the stop. Gain of 4 to the 35.
Now you're setting this one up. Look at Bradford. He's taken a pounding today. 3 sacks, 10 times been hurried, 7 times knocked on the ground, and had a ball batted up. But yeah, he's got to get in the whirlpool when this one's all said and done.
That's in 30 attempts today. 3rd and 6. And thrown in back of Illinois Mike.
Well, Illinois Mike's got to settle down in the zone. You don't run through zone coverage. You settle in between the defenders, which is what Sam Bradford was expecting. Now watch the defender. If you lead him, this ball's going to be picked off. But settle right there. Settle down. So if he settles in there, he's going to catch that ball behind Jarrett Johnson. Illinois Mike still got some learning to do.
Oh, Mananui. Oh, Mananui. Here is a 4th and 6 from the 35. Bradford gets a block from Cadillac Williams. He is brought down, sacked in the play by Jameel McClain. Loss of 4. Ravens will take over at the 31-yard line. The 4th sack today authored by the Baltimore defense. They've been all over the young quarterback, McClain. Baltimore defense does their job. They stop a 4th down try by the Rams, and so on downs they take over, and Ricky Williams from the 31 takes it down to about the 27 and picks up 4 on the play for Baltimore. Coming up, time permitting, after the game, Subway postgame show. James Brown, Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Cowher, scores, news, and highlights from New York, all coming up on the Subway postgame report. 2nd down and 6. Flacco remains under 8 to play.
Flacco does remain in the game, and we question whether or not he should be in the game when the score being what it is. Like to see him safer on the sideline.
Chased by Long, good catch by the tight end Dixon, bangs his way into Michael. He's at the 7-yard line of the Rams. Catch and run of 19 yards. It's another 1st down, 1st and goal for the Baltimore Ravens.
Wonderful throw, good catch, and quick Michael almost clawed his ball out. But the big tight end holds on to it. 6'4", 250 is Ed Dixon. Most total yards in a game, 548, and they're just 1 behind that today at 547.
1st and goal at the 8. And they run it inside with Ricky Williams on a gain of 4. McGahee is gone. LaRon McClain is gone. Ricky Williams was signed. He's the backup to Rice for Coach John Harbaugh, who knew his team would play well. Told us last night he felt very good. He's got a franchise record in total yards today. But they had a sharpness to their answers last night. A sharpness to their attitude last night as they approached this afternoon.
Yeah, they were focused. No way they were going to come into St. Louis and lay an egg. You knew you were going to get your best performance from this Baltimore Ravens team today.
Here's a 2nd and goal at the 4. Flacco looking over his options from behind. Long has got him down at the 6. That's the 1st sack for a 3rd consecutive game. Chris Long comes up with a sack for the defense of the Rams.
And Chris Long, just watch how relentless he is. And that's what you love about him when you put the tape on. He refuses to stay blocked. Look, continues to hunt the quarterback. His effort, he's relentless. They tried to cut block him. He stays on his feet and pursues the quarterback. That's why he's making plays. 8.5 sacks 1 year ago. Had 21 hits on the quarterback during the 2010 season.
Most of you know the story. He is the son of Howie Long. Numbers on Flacco today, approaching 400 yards. No picks, 3 touchdowns, 3rd and goal at the 6. Ricky Williams is in. Oh, the blitz from the other side. Dahl can't get him. Chamberlain knocks it away. That is a loose ball picked up by Clinton Michael. He'll race the other way until he's finally taken down by Bolden. And he brought it up to the 22-yard line. 1st turnover today by Baltimore.
You just wonder if the Baltimore Ravens are playing with fire by leaving Joe Flacco in the game. Steve Spagnuolo is not going to stop rushing and blitzing your quarterback if you're the Baltimore Ravens. They bring in the heat from the blind side. They flush him out of the pocket, and then look, they track him down. Chamberlain is able to get to him. Is able to get the ball out. And Joe Flacco starting to get pounded here in the 4th quarter despite having a commanding lead. You always have to protect your quarterback.
So the Rams take over 1st and 10 from the 22. Bradford remains. Cadillac Williams in the backfield. It's caught Denario Alexander out of the University of Missouri after the 37. Picks up 15 yards. He of 5 left knee surgeries. Got to hear he plays his 2nd season. And the numbers on Flacco in terms of pressure today by that Rams defense.
They're starting to go down and go down hard.
1st and 10. And I think the Rams have taken a timeout. Rams have taken a timeout indeed. Well, we know that they finished last season losing 3 of their last 4. They've lost their first 2 now, so in essence they've lost 5 of 6 games. And there's been a lot of talk about Steve Spagnuolo if this in his 3rd year is going in the right direction, if the compass is headed in the right direction for the team.
But you know, the Ravens even told us when we met with them, don't panic in the 2011 season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I think it's way premature to be talking about Coach Spagnuolo. Remember, won 7 games 1 year ago with a rookie quarterback, doing a wonderful job developing that young rookie quarterback and developing this team. And I just think they really need to be patient with him because he's a wonderful teacher. We've sat down with him, and many of the players love what he's doing with this football team.
Well, they've certainly spent money on free agents. They're right at the limit of the cap. Goes down in 10 from the 37. Bradford again running for his life. It's loose. Look at the big man, Nada, rumbling in for the touchdown. And for a 3rd consecutive week, the opposing defense has scored a touchdown on the St. Louis Rams.
Wow. A big, rambling Haloti Ngata just signed a big-time contract on Tuesday. 5-year, $61 million contract extension. Yeah, the big man. He's showing why Ozzie and the Baltimore Ravens wrote that big check, guaranteeing $40 million over the next 2 years. It gets into the end zone. And to a man, everyone on this team, they applauded when he walked into the meeting after signing that contract. They feel as much as anyone, Haloti Ngata was well-deserved to earn that kind of contract. And he shows you why on that play.
One of the highest paid defensive linemen after that deal in the National Football League. Cundiff puts it up and in. The opposing defenses against the Rams in 3 games. First career touchdown there. Flag is in.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker, number 84. Penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The extra point is good.
But the Eagles got a defensive touchdown week 1. Foley, the linebacker for the Giants, got one week 2. And today, Ngata gets it and runs in for his first career touchdown for Baltimore in week 3.
It was Ray Lewis who got the ball out, who punched it out. Ngata is the recipient of Ray Lewis's work. Look at he had good hands to pluck it up off the ground. You know, the big guys can rarely bend over that quickly. And look at the nifty footwork. Holding the ball, maybe in the wrong arm. Put it on the outside arm. Nice play by Haloti Ngata, sharing the ball with the fans.
Ray Lewis told us last night, he said, we usually respond after a loss. And under Harbaugh, they're now going to go to 13-4 the week after a loss, which shows you some resiliency, but says a lot, I think, about the character of a guy like Ray Lewis and the leadership of guys like Ngata on this team. Well, for those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS and the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the St. Louis Rams. This is Kevin Harlan along with Solomon Wilcots. And our score is 37-7 Baltimore. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. The ensuing kickoff, it comes from the 50 because of the personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on the hit on the kicker by Alexander of the Rams on the extra point. So what a way to celebrate for Ngata. Fumble recovery, vacuuming it in and taking it in for the touchdown. Manage all your CBS Sports fantasy football teams on your mobile device. Download the free app today at cbssports.com/mobile. So Bradford remains in the game. You know, he hurt his finger week 1 against Philadelphia. He hit it against a helmet on a follow-through, the index finger of his passing hand. We've seen him go down and crumble on his passing arm in a sack by Redding earlier in the game. On 1st and 10, a quick gain of 3. That's brought up by Cadillac Williams. To New York and James Brown.
Jets have drawn within 7 of Oakland, Coach.
Hey, Kevin and Sully, unlike your game, this game again, going to the 4th quarter, Jets down 14. Big target in the red zone, Plexico burst. But now can that defense stop McFadden and give the ball back to Sanchez one more time?
Burris' second touchdown reception of the year. Back to Kevin and Solomon.
Well, remember, the Jets came from 14 down on Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys to beat Dallas. And here's a 2nd and 7 handoff, and it goes to Cadillac, who picks up about 2 yards. He's out to the 25-yard line.
And will someone tell Coach Cowher you can't do a cliffhanger every week? You know, we try. We do our best.
Yeah, we're still a little bit off the fumes of Oakland and Buffalo of last week. McPhee, who's got a sack today, the first of his career, the rookie out of Mississippi State. You see some of the passing leaders in our fantasy update.
How about Coach Cowher handling the update duties with JB?
Seamlessly. 3rd and 4, and Cadillac Williams for 2. Brought down on the play by Ray Lewis, still digging out the ball. Ray Lewis, 12 Pro Bowls, 2 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP, All-Decade Team.
Yeah, all everything. How about that?
And playing with a heavy heart. We told you as we started our broadcast with Orlando Brown's passing earlier this week. He and Ray were close.
Yeah, Ray Lewis is such a passionate player, and I don't know that we've had a better player to play at any position who gives so much to the game physically, emotionally, and just a tremendous leader, has helped other players realize their true potential, and maybe not nearly as good if Ray Lewis isn't a teammate of theirs.
Baltimore has thrown the challenge flag out onto the field.
Ray Lewis, and it's
Baltimore is
football.
challenging the ruling on the play that the runner was down by contact.
Which means Ray Lewis is saying that it's their ball, that it should have been a turnover. So now we're going to go under the hood and take a look.
And with a 30-point lead, they're always working for a Baltimore team that was wondering, really what they were going to be. They knew, but a lot of people were questioning, were they the team that played so well against Pittsburgh week 1, or was it the team that lost last week in Tennessee in week 2?
And it's a carry by Cadillac Williams. He's on the ground. Ball's out, clearly out. But did it come out before he made contact with the ground? Look at Ray Lewis. Now he's trying to fight for the ball. He has it. Cadillac Williams has it. Was that ball sitting on the turf as they both went to grab it? And at what point did it come out? Did it come out before the knee or hip was on the ground of Cadillac Williams? We had no evidence that it was.
36-year-old Ray Lewis with 10 tackles today. Let's look at Cadillac Williams, who has had his share of injuries. He, of course, was a high pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He missed 22 games because of knee injuries in 07 and 08, but he has not missed a single game in the last 2 years, and is the backup to Steven Jackson, who did start today, and that surprised a lot of people. I think John Harbaugh was probably not expecting him after Jackson had not taken any snaps, creditable snaps, in practice this week for the Rams here in St. Louis.
Yeah, but Steven Jackson is one of those players that you can give him some rest during the week and still get a good game out of him. You see Josh McDaniels studying his play call sheet.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Baltimore will be charged with a timeout. 4th down.
Well, they're going to get the ball anyway on the punt coming up from Donnie Jones of the St. Louis Rams.
I don't know that timeout's going to help you so much with 3:20 left on the clock and a 30-point lead.
Well, D-back, they got Laquan Williams. We've seen his most snaps in his very young 3-game NFL career today. Very few fans remain, but there is a ton in back of the Baltimore bench, all Baltimore fans. Good hang time here, and Williams signaling for a fair catch and lost the ball, and then gathers it in about the 22 and a 50-yard punt. I'd like to remind you the next Sunday the NFL on CBS will feature doubleheader action. First, the Steelers will take on the Texans, and then the Broncos will battle the defending Super Bowl champion Green Bay Packers. Check the local listings for the game and time in your area. It all begins with the NFL Today next Sunday, 12 noon. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. We will be in Oakland for the New England Patriots and the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, that should be a biggie. That Oakland Raiders team is much improved.
Indeed they are. Flacco is still in. First down and 10. Anthony Allen. Anthony Allen with the carry. He is a 7th-round rookie pick out of Georgia Tech. There's the upcoming schedule with the Jets coming up on Sunday night against the Ravens.
Yeah, they'll play host to the New York Jets, and then they'll have a bye week. Then the Houston Texans come to town, and then they pay a visit to Jacksonville. So Jets are losing by, what, 13?
13
right
points
now.
last I saw, yeah.
That's right, to the Oakland Raiders.
Allen remains in the backfield. He was a starter at Louisville, transferred, became a starter at Georgia Tech. He was drafted in the 7th round by
Ball start.
Baltimore.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, that is on Ja Reed. third-round pick rookie out of Central Florida. Flacco's numbers. 2nd down and 12. Hard hit put on Anthony Allen on a gain of 2.
Well, I guess Joe Flacco really did respond to the challenge from his head coach, John Harbaugh. We spoke with him yesterday. He says, look, Joe Flacco did not play well 1 week ago in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans, but he's got to play much better tomorrow. He knew he had to push his quarterback to go out and play well today. Joe Flacco has responded, and I think we got to start giving Joe Flacco a lot more credit for being one of the top quarterbacks in our league.
And the 2-minute warning. I know the Ravens are trying to get a more consistent pass rush today. They did get 5 sacks against Sam Bradford. The quarterback has thrown 3 long touchdown passes, 3rd down and 10. Flacco just under 400 yards passing, looking to tack on some more. Doss, there's a flag. And the coverage by Bradley Fletcher of the Rams. You see those helmets of the Rams? They were the first team in the NFL to have
Interference. Defense, number 32. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
They were the first team to have that put on, and a former player back in the late 40s put that logo. He didn't like the leather helmets. So we said, he was an art major. It was a guy named Fred Gerke who played halfback at the University of Utah, art major in college, did not like the drab brown helmets, so we put the logo on. Dan Reeves, the owner, liked it so much, he said, I'll pay you $1 a helmet for the rest of the season.
Did he get royalties with that?
I don't know.
How about beyond that season?
Yeah, but that was the beginning of what we see now with all these different helmets, and the Rams has been around a long time. It used to be, he initially painted it gold, then it went to white, now it's, since back here in St. Louis, back to gold. 2nd down and 7 yards to go.
Well, that's just a really good story, and certainly,
I don't know if it's a good story.
It's a good story. I mean, all 32 teams have their own logo on the side of their helmet. There was no doubt, and it all started with the Rams.
So a lot of questions may have been answered today by Baltimore. They came in after last week's loss at Tennessee. The quarterback played well. The offensive line with Gerard playing at the left guard may have answered some questions there, with Ben Grubb still injured. And John Harbaugh, in the wake of a loss, has come up with his 13 wins in the 17 games as a head coach of the Ravens. And then on the other side, Steve Spagnuolo has lost his 6th game in the last 7, going back to last year, and they looked bad today, to be quite honest, and he's got a lot on his mind. The quarterback took a beating, and they've got a lot of issues here in St. Louis.
Yeah, and you never really saw him got going in that no-huddle offense. This Baltimore Ravens defense was just simply dominant today.
So we saw 3 long touchdown passes by Flacco, all to rookie Torrey Smith, who caught touchdown passes of 74, 41, and 18 yards. Field goals by Cundiff. And 2 very dear friends, Spagnuolo of the Rams, Harbaugh of the Ravens, will give a quick goodbye at midfield. You just saw Nada, who had the fumble recovery and a touchdown run for Baltimore. Baltimore, 553 yards of offense. Solomon Wilcox, Kevin Harlan tonight, 60 Minutes, The Amazing Race, and The Good Wife, and CSI Miami. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.